You did it. Stage 2 is officially in the books. 9 lessons from what a network even is through IPv4, IPv6, MAC addresses, DHCP, DNS, HTTP, the network closet, and Wi-Fi standards, all fused into one working mental model. This isn't a new lesson. It's the capstone where we trace a packet end to end from your laptop to google.com and back, and you walk away sounding like a network-savvy IT pro ready for stage 3. Before we trace that packet, take in the whole map at once. 9 lessons, 9 signature ideas. Network sizes nesting from PAN out to the internet. IPv4 and IPv6 living side by side. MAC burned into the hardware. DHCP handing out the keys. DNS translating names. HTTP carrying the conversation. The closet humming with modem router switch AP. And Wi-Fi binding it all wirelessly. That grid right there, that's a networking fluent IT brain in 2026. Now flip from grid to web. IPv4 needs MAC at every hop. IP itself comes from DHCP. DNS returns an IP. HTTP rides on IP. Routers forward by IP. Switches forward by MAC. Wi-Fi is just the medium carrying the LAN. And DHCP even tells you which DNS to ask. That's not 9 separate lessons anymore. That's 9 nodes wired together by 20+ dependencies. Memorize the links, not the list. And here's that web turned into a stack. Bottom to top, the physical signal carries MAC frames, MAC carries IP packets, IP gets configured by DHCP and resolved by DNS, and HTTP rides on top, all of it nested inside the PAN to Internet hierarchy from Lesson 8. Burn this picture in, because when something breaks, you don't guess. You ask which layer failed and fix exactly there. So let's prove it. You type google.com and hit enter and watch what your laptop actually does. DHCP already gave it an IP. DNS resolves the name in a 4-step recursive walk. HTTP builds the request and TLS wraps it. MAC carries it across Wi-Fi to the switch to the router. IP routing pushes it through ISP and WAN to Google's edge. And a 200 OK comes back the same way. 200 milliseconds, 6 steps, every single stage 2 lesson firing in sequence. That's network fluent. Now prove it to yourself. 8 questions, 1 for each pillar of stage 2. Cover the answers, work through them mentally, then check. Why is a 168 address unreachable from abroad? What's 1? Why does DHCP hand you DNS along with the IP? If you land 6 out of 8, you're solid and stage 3 is yours. Under 6, just replay the weak lessons. No shame. That's how this stuff sticks. And once you've passed that self-check, here's what's waiting. Stage 3 leaves the wires and the protocols behind and walks you straight into the physical machine. 8 lessons covering what's inside the desktop, laptop anatomy, storage, monitors, input devices, printers, and every cable and adapter you'll ever plug in. It closes with a capstone where you spec an entire PC for a specific user role and defend every single component choice. Stage 2 taught you how data moves. Stage 3 teaches you the metal it moves through. But before you cross that bridge, here's your stage 2 brain on a single page. 9 lessons, 9 one-liners. Sizes nest from PAN to Internet. IPv4 is 32 bits. IPv6 is 128. MAC stays local. DHCP runs DORA. DNS resolves names. HTTP trades requests and responses, where forward sex is on you and 5-yubkex is on them. The closet holds modem, router, switch, and AP, and Wi-Fi tops out at the slower of the 2 ends. If any of those feel fuzzy, replay that lesson. If they all click, you're ready. So before we open stage 3, 5 honest things. 1, you can actually hold a network conversation now. DHCP scope, DNS resolver, 5x error roll off the tongue, and that puts you ahead of most people. 2, you're help desk capable, not a senior engineer. Pair this with a home lab and an A+ and you're hireable. 3, hallway specifics fade, models stay, Google the TLD list. But DNS is a tree, lives in you forever. 4, stage 3 will feel easier because hardware is concrete, but don't get cocky. And 5, build the home lab for real this time. Raspberry Pi, old switch, Wireshark. I built it at home is what gets you hired. So that's stage two, locked in. 9 lessons fused into one model. Every packet traceable from your NEIC to a server across the world, and you're sitting on Network Plus foundations, whether you take the cert or not. Next up, lesson 18. We crack open the desktop. PSU, motherboard, CPU, RAM, GPU, the actual physical machines that move all this data you now understand. Stage 3 starts strong. See you inside the case.